Hello and welcome to the new video. Today we're going to take a look at an insane event that's going to be happening at the end of this month. We're going to have here a Team Go Rocket event again, but we're going to have now the Shadow Kyogre coming from Giovanni. And with this, also Kyogre, or like Shadow Kyogre, is going to be available for the Great League, which is going to be so wild. But otherwise, they're going to have a new Pokemon release, you're going to have new Shadow Pokemon release, so definitely stay tuned for this video. We want to take a look at all of that today. And so, let's move on with this video. We're going to take a look at the event itself, starting on the 27th on January till the 1st of February. Sadly, exactly a period where I literally just have to write exams for university, so don't know how much I can cover. I hope that I can cover a lot, but it's really like the worst possible timing for me. But otherwise, we're gonna get here Steel and Poison type Pokemon from the newest generation, Revavroom and Revavroom. I definitely, like, this is going to be a pain to do videos about them, I'm always going to tell you. But this Pokemon is having a very unique typing and being Poison and Steel. I don't think there's a single Pokemon currently available that has this typing, so it's going to be a very cool Pokemon to have. It's definitely fitting for the Team Go Rocket theme of this event. Event bonuses, we're going to get Team Go Rocket more often at Pokestops and Balloons. We're going to be able to use Charge TMs to get rid of frustration, which is really nice, and we're gonna get the Shadow Kyogre. And this is going to be amazing. Starts at 10 AM local time, which I don't really like too much because yeah, basically, I don't know, like it's for the event before, like never mind, it actually starts at midnight already, which I didn't see the last time. It always was like at 10 AM, which was really bad because basically the new Rocket Leader then shift their Pokemon as well. You would not be able to encounter them for one day, but it's back to midnight start, which is really good for also me, because I'm going to take a look at the Shadow Kyogre immediately as soon as possible, because I always have like one radar stacked for this kind of Pokemon. And we're going to have here Shadow rated debut as well for the Shiny Shadow Ho-Oh, which is going to be an insane Pokemon to get. Definitely stay tuned and definitely try to get those Pokemon here from the 27th to 28th. For 1 weekend you're going to be able to encounter Shadow Ho-Oh. Hopefully it's easy to beat, I doubt it, but I still gonna try to do some raids maybe for it. And of course you're going to have some new grunts here, which is going to be interesting. Shadow Corfish, going to be an interesting one there. There are two movesets that you can run with this Pokemon, and I wonder which one is going to be better. We're going to have the Shadow Snorunt, which is going to be especially interesting for Frostless, and the new move Triple Axle, because now you're going to boost your attack basically by the Shadow bonus plus Triple Axle already, which might be a way to go. Then we're going to have Shadow Chimchar, which might need a new move update, which you might get for the next season, which would be cool, with like Incinerate for this Pokemon, which would make this Pokemon very strong. Then we're going to have Shadow Piplup, which I could imagine going to benefit quite a bit of it. I prepared a little bit for it, but I didn't look at it yet, so we're going to take a look at this together. Shadow Krogunk, fairly likely that this is going to help this Pokemon out being a little bit more meta as well, like very likely. Shadow Drabble might be cool for like certain cups, but not going to be that crazy for most of them. And then we're going to have Shadow Ferroseed, which is going to be pretty much like very likely not usable, but we're going to talk a little bit about this. We're going to have the raids here, kind of lame. We're going to have Shadow raids where we're actually going to get the Krogunk from it as well, which is kind of decent. So like it's an easy way to get this Pokemon here basically. The rest is going to be Pokemon that we had before already, but Krogunk, if you are struggling getting this from just a normal grunt, maybe raids going to be the way to go. Otherwise, a lot of cool Pokemon here as well. And from X, of course, we're going to get from 12km X now this Pokemon. I bet it's going to be insanely rare as well, but yeah, field research task going to be, yeah, again, like kind of poison type Pokemon that are kind of common, but yeah, this is basically just an addition here with the new Pokemon here, so it's going to be very tricky to get this one. Showcase is going to be available for certain Pokemon, and there's going to be a box that's going to be available where you can get a Rocket Raider Premium Pass on Incubator for 300 here, or like 7 for like 10 euro in the web store, which I would not really recommend you. There's actually a 5 euro, yeah, okay, that's going to be interesting, 5 euro research that you can pay for, which you're gonna get a new pose, which I guess is a cool pose, but is it worth 5 euro? That's something that you have to decide for yourself, or like $1 here. But let's move on to some team building and some like showcases for the new Pokemon. We have like, for example, here, which I can showcase a little bit more in depth because it's an actual new Pokemon, the new Steel and Poison type, having access to Lick and Poison Jab currently in the moveset, plus Overheat, Gangshot, Acid Spray, and Gyro Ball is going to be interesting. I doubt that this is going to be the moveset that you want to run with this Pokemon. I'm very certain that you're going to run Acid Spray over it, and this is going to be a little bit better, so we're going to take a look at this as well. Maybe in calculations, Gangshot might be better for it, but it's a very unlikely that's going to be the case actually later on. We have the Kyogre, as you can see here. Level 13, make sure to catch it without Weather Boost. I think Weather Boost might put it above the level, most likely still not, but you basically, if you don't catch it with Weather Boost, it's always level 8, and so you're definitely going to be able to use Kyogre then for the Great League, which is going to be funny, because this Pokemon actually has a little bit of play, which you're going to take a look at. Crawdaunt, I would imagine that Waterfall is going to be the better moveset for this Pokemon, because it has Snarl as well, and Snarl is going to generate energy fast, but for like a Shadow Pokemon, you usually want to have a lot of damage with a fast move, and Waterfall plus Night Slash plus Scald might be interesting. You're going to have the Infernape here, having access to Fire Spin, which got buffed a little bit, is kind of cool, but it needs kind of the move Incinerate, and then we're going to have the Empoleon, which I would imagine that would also get a little bit of a buff from it. So let's see what is actually going to be decent here with Acid Spray. Look at the new Pokemon Revavroom or whatever. It's going to be very, very decent. Again, like I'm going to have so many comments about this, which is going to be a cool Pokemon to use. Kyogre itself is more of a fun Pokemon for sure. Like, it's not going to be a crazy strong one, but I kind of want to try it out for sure as well. We're going to have Crawdaunt. Crawdaunt is going to not really have too much play, but I would not really expect anything from it either. Frostless looks kind of cool. We have Infernape now, which looks kind of decent as well. I mean, not really, like, it's not really looking good, but like, if you would give, for example, Infernape Incinerate in a feature upgrade or whatever, I wouldn't go with Counter, by the way, because we already have basically the same Pokemon then in the Blaziken, so like you don't really want to give it Counter, give it Incinerate, and all of a sudden this Pokemon actually has a little bit of play. Then we're going to have Empoleon, and Empoleon is one of the Pokemon where I think it's actually going to benefit quite a bit from it, because you're just going to have a little bit more damage output from it, and we can actually put, like, for the interesting Pokemon, the normal variant real quick next to it. We're going to have here the Empoleon, and we have here the Frostless, and so as you're gonna see here as well, those Pokemon are going to change a little bit. I mean, I would imagine exactly. Empoleon going to gain a little bit more of a upgrade with this one, which I also expected, because it's just going to do a little bit more damage. Frostless, you're actually going to be able to pick up now the win against the Wishcast. You're going to lose against Mandibuzz apparently, but I feel like in the two-shield scenario it's not an issue either. Against Manton you can win, and I'm very curious on how this is going to be now. If you go for Triple Axel, I'm fairly certain that this is going to actually change quite a bit from it. And as you're going to see here, Triple Axel, yeah, look at Triple Axel Frostless and the Shadow variant. This Pokemon going to be way, way better with this move. And I think this is going to be the way to go. Especially if we're going to take a look now at the two-shield scenario, which is going to be interesting for most Shadow Pokemon anyway, because it's going to impact them quite a bit more. We will see that, I guess Frostless is still maybe better as a non-Shadow variant here. Like, you're going to win against Stunfisk, which you don't do with the other one. But I still feel like it's going to be an interesting Pokemon. Revavroom actually has some potential as well, which is kind of funny. Kyogre actually beats quite a few Pokemon here because just of the insane damage output, and also Empoleon kind of benefits from it. Otherwise, we're going to have some other Pokemon here as well, which you can take a look at. We're going to have the Crustle, we're going to have the Ferrothorn, and we're going to have the Toxicroak. And if we're going to take a look at what they can do in the Great League, we will see that Toxicroak looks like a really strong fighting type option. Crustle kind of looks pretty bad, and Ferrothorn actually looks good. I did not expect this. I kind of want to see real quick the comparison to the normal Pokemon side by side, because it's going to be a very interesting one as well, because Ferrothorn looks crazy good. Why? Like, for usually, at least what you want to have as a... I guess the Ori looks kind of decent normally, but like now you're going to be able to beat something like a Lickitung. That's mad. Like, I didn't expect that the Ferrothorn would have some play with it, but apparently this Pokemon is fairly decent. But usually you kind of want to have a hard-hitting fast move, at least for Shadow Pokemon, or that you get very fast to charge moves. And for Ferrothorn, it's kind of neither, like, none of them is kind of the case. You're going to have the Bullet Seed, which is going to generate energy pretty fast, but you have Power Whip usually, which is going to take quite a little bit to get to. And so, like, you don't really have any of those aspects, but apparently that's kind of nice. Now we're going to take a look at the Ultra League for those Pokemon as well, and we're going to see here as well what they can do in this one. Revavroom, I think you don't even need an XL variant of it. Yeah, you don't even need this. Like, it's actually going to get kind of high up as well with that, which is kind of interesting. I would actually go for Acid Spray again. I feel like Acid Spray is the way to go, just because, like, how many nukes do you want for this Pokemon? I feel like Acid Spray is the best move to go for. And you're going to see here, like, those Pokemon don't really look too great other than the Toxicroak. Toxicroak, I feel like, is still going to be decent, but for the Ultra League, I could imagine that the a little bit more bulkier variant of Toxicroak as a non-Shadow is going to be better as well. Empoleon not really going to be too great, and I feel like all of them kind of struggle a little bit. We're going to have Crustle as well. I feel like for Crustle, I didn't really give it the right moveset anyway. Here you're going to see as well, like, both of them are going to be okay, but not too crazy. But we can go for Crustle, actually for the move Smackdown as well, which I feel like might be a little bit more interesting, but also doesn't really change too much. For the Great League, I want to see that as well real quick for the Crustle, how the moveset would change there, because I don't think it was... No, there actually was Smackdown. Okay, never mind. So, like, this is going to be okay for that. Now we're going to take a look at the final one, which is going to be Kyogre in the Master League. And here we're going to have the normal one against the Shadow variant. I can actually put like the Revavroom in there as well, just to have some kind of fun with this Pokemon. It goes up to 3337 CP apparently, which is not going to be too crazy. But if you're going to give it like the normal moveset as well, it's not going to be too good either. But now we can take a look at the Kyogre and the Shadow Kyogre. Apparently, normal one just seems to be a little bit better. Why is that so? Because for Zacian, you would be able to usually survive the move of Wild Charge, which you're not going to be able to do with a Shadow variant. And for Groudon, you would be able to survive the move of Precious Blade after, like in the 1-shield or like 1-2-0 shield scenario here, like kind of in the middle of that, whatever. But here in this case, you're not going to be able to do that either anymore because of the Shadow bonus. But in hindsight, we're going to take a look at, again, the kind of matchup that is most important for Shadow Pokemon, which is the 2-shield scenario. And there it kind of shifts around a little bit, because here you're going to see as well that the Shadow variant actually is going to be able to pick up a win against Lugia. And the rest looks kind of similar, and I feel like that the Shadow variant has some potential. I think it's kind of equally towards the normal variant of this Pokemon, but it is definitely an interesting one there. Revavroom actually has some potential, which is kind of funny, so maybe I'm going to build one as well. But yeah, this is going to be it for this video. Very cool event. Hope you enjoyed this video as well. If you did, feel free to leave a like. Let me know in the comment section which Shadow Pokemon you're most excited about. For me, I would say honestly Kyogre. Like for me, it's Kyogre, and this actually for the Great League, just because I like to have like those really random legendary Pokemon for the Great League. So stay tuned for a showcase of this for sure, and I see you then in the next video. Bye bye.